Now that was intense, boy. That entire morning was intense. It was focused. It was long. Man, this is the story time about my firstborn son and our natural birth experience. No meds, midwife. This is a natural birth story from a male's perspective. A natural birth isn't as common as it used to be, so this was quite the experience. And it was also my first time having a child, so like, this is my entire experience and the crazy story that happened. Intense, panic, helpless, exhausted. Those are the feelings that I had this entire experience. What's up, guys? I'm Jamal Nolan, back with another story time. If you're new to this channel, I have a crazy life, and sometimes crazy things happen to me, and I share them in story time. This is one of those events. So this story time is like near and dear to my heart, and to be quite honest, I'm not even making it for like you guys. I'm making it for me, to document this video, to put together something that's just there for me, my wife, my kid, But thank you for joining us and watching. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to hear the story time from my wife's perspective, like, you gotta spam the comment section. Like, I mean, a lot of comments gotta be down there in order for me to bring my wife on here. Cause like I said, I'm very protective of my family, but maybe you guys can convince her to join me. So let's get right into the story time. Just give y'all guys a short little backstory. We definitely chose to go the natural birth route. It was just something that me and my wife both kind of agreed upon very early on. Like, she brought it to my attention. I said, hey, whatever you want to do. But as the process went along, like, I was full in agreement with her about not going to a doctor. Like, the ideal of doctors and medication and shots and this and that, it just, like, I didn't like the ideal of it. And I also don't like the ideal of hospitals in general, just intervening in something that is quite frankly natural. Like, it's something that women do on a regular basis, have been doing well before hospitals were invented. So I figured, like, man, we can do it, or she can do it if that's what she want to do. So we decided very early on to embark on this natural birth journey. I just so happened to be insurance at the time, so I knew of a birthing center. Like, I had walked into a birthing center like 4 or 5 months before we found out that my wife was pregnant. I don't think I would call that a coincidence. I think that happened for a reason, because I believe everything happens for a reason. So as soon as my wife was pregnant and we discovered that, and she was like, hey, I want to do a natural birth, I'm going to look up birthing centers. I said, I know one. Feel free to research them and do it, but I met some great people and I think we should check them out. That did indeed become the birthing center that we use. Great people, Grapevine Birthing Center in Grapevine, Texas, very close to Louisville, Texas. I definitely shout them out because I love the people over there. Thank you to Tiffany, the receptionist, Kim, Joy, Lynette, like, everybody that was over there was just absolutely incredible. And I ain't really getting into the backstory of all our appointments, et cetera, et cetera. But in that process, we had every single appointment. I was at every single appointment. We had birthing classes with a doula who walked us through the entire process. I was obviously there for every single part of that. I didn't miss a beat. I read all the books, went to all the appointments, so I was well prepared. Like, kind of like I'm very well prepared for all my videos. Like, it's just how I am. So fast forward 9 months. It's the day before my son is gonna be born. Don't know that, obviously. But my wife was experiencing labor pains. I remember we was in Target. She just, you know, cramping, getting contractions, just like, hold on, babe. She don't call me babe. She got another name. I won't say that on here. Hold on, babe. Hold on. That's how she was doing. And so I had an app that our doula from the birthing classes suggested. She was great. I don't remember her name. Dang, it's kind of messed up. She was a really cool lady though. She gave me an app and I was just to time the contractions. time to contractions, time to contractions. And they let me know that like contractions gonna be 30 minutes apart, an hour apart, sporadic. And then they'll get down to 10 minutes and 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes. And that was just to keep track of all of that, because the game plan was for us to get to the birthing center where they had a bed. It's like a home. It literally was like a home for us, where you got a bedroom, your room, and I'll show y'all all of this here in a second, or you can see all of it now. But in the tub and all of that stuff, just to have you comfortable. But the plan was to get there as late as possible so we could be there as little as possible. Like we wanted to be in and out, just because that's how in our head, like this is gonna be a fast process. We went through all the classes. She might be a fast birther, like all that type of stuff. And it didn't go that way. It didn't go that way at all. But I was on it. I was on the contraction machine. I was on the timer, and I knew what to look for. They told me it's not necessarily about how short it is. That does matter, like 5 minutes apart, 6 minutes apart, but you want it to be consistent for a certain amount of time. So like 4 or 5 of them for a certain amount of time, right? So I tracked her contractions throughout the day, and they was pretty sporadic, and they were closing in, but they weren't crazy. As the night came about, you know, we decided it's time to go to bed. I kept up with the contractions all the way to bed. They told us this, that it's very, very important that you get sleep. If you don't try to stay up testing these contractions and all of this other stuff. Like, you need sleep. If you're gonna have a baby, you're gonna go into labor, it could be a long process. Both of y'all wanna be well rested. So I'm talking 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, we was in bed. Like, I'm like, let's go to sleep. Probably looks like the baby is gonna come tomorrow. Let's just go to sleep. We'll deal with it in the morning, right? I think we text both of our families like, hey, this is what's going on. I know I text my mom like, hey, she's going into labor. If I had to guess it, she would have the baby sometime tomorrow morning, mid-morning, afternoon, whatever. We sleep, and I just so happened to roll over in the middle of the night. It's about 3 something in the morning, 2 something in the morning, and I just so happened to roll over, and my wife wasn't in the bed. She was like leaning over the side of the bed, like having contractions. She was like, and I was like, I jump up out of bed, babe, you good? When did the contraction start? Like, I hit the machine. I'm like, let's go. Let's see how long it lasts. How like, I want to know. So we own it. And she was like, I don't know, I'm good. I don't think, like, I'm good. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I wasn't panicking. Like, that's something that I want to point out about this story. I remember like watching a lot of movies and a lot of TV shows where like the baby is coming and the men are panicking, they running around. And I really thought like that would be me. But I'm normally the calmest, coolest guy ever. And I thought to myself, like, in this process, I wonder if I will always be calm throughout this process. Or am I gonna panic a little bit? Am I gonna freak out? Like, bringing a kid into this world is a big responsibility. It's very risky for both parties, the child and the mother. And it's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's truly a miracle. So I'm like, I wonder, am I going to panic? So in my head, like, I wasn't prepping myself like, be calm, be calm, be calm. I was just like, I wonder what my natural response will be. So I woke up, I was like, let me get the timer. I hit the timer, we talking, she going through her contractions, and I'm timing them, but I ain't saying nothing to her. I'm just letting her know, like, you know, just let me know. Get you some water, get you some ice, rub your back. Just let me know if you need anything. I'm here. And I'm timing the contractions, but I'm not really letting her know what's going on. And then I say, sweetheart, I think we need to go to the birthing center. I think we need to text them and head to the birthing center. And she was like, why? I don't think it's time. Like, it's not time. Like, I'm fine. Like, the contractions are fine. I was like, nah, I'm looking at it pretty consistently 5-6 minutes-ish. We gotta go. Like, we 15 minutes away from the birthing center. but we gotta go, sweetheart. And she was like, you sure? And I was like, trust me, like, listen to me, trust me. So we text them, I explained to them, they said, come in now. Like, they was like, let's go, you guys gotta get here immediately. And I was like, okay, sounds good. Like, and I said, hey, sweetheart, they said we gotta go. And she was like, really? I just don't think this is it. And I was like, listen to the professionals, listen to me, because I'm a professional now, and you listen to them. Don't listen to yourself and your body. Just get out of here with that. Come on, let's go. So we grab the bags, head down the stairs, get in the car, and we drive off. She having contractions in the car. I'm like, oh man, you know, laid back. I'm trying to make her as comfortable as possible in the car. And it's just like, oh, here we go, man, here we go. So we get to the birthing center. They tell me, hey, pull up to the back. The door is unlocked. We ready to roll. So I get in there. And when we get upstairs, here's what the room looks like. Here's what time it was. It was 3:34 in the morning. They got everything on the thing. And I just set up the camera and they asked my wife, what does she want to do? And she was like, I want to get in the tub first. So she gets in the tub and she's laboring in the tub. She's comfortable. I'm taking pictures and whatnot. But she just like relaxed. She's having contractions. And this goes on for hours. She get out the tub. She's leaning over the tub. She's in the bed laying sideways. She's having contractions over here. She's having contractions over there. She's doing this, she's doing that. Like, it was a long process. Like, boy, like early, when we got there early, they told her, like, they took her temperature, they checked her and all that stuff. And it was like, you guys are in here at the right time. You're about 9 centimeters dilated, I think it was. And it was like, it's time to go. Like, we are here. This is the moment. You will not be leaving here without a baby. And I was like, wow, all right. I was right. I don't got that on camera, but I definitely said, I told you. And she was like, So I was like, let's go. But she labored, man. It just stalled. Like, she walked around. She sat on the ball. She did this, she did that. Like, we literally got to a point where it was like, maybe walking the stairs will help. Like, sometimes walking up and down stairs will help your birthing process. Walk down the stairs, walked around downstairs, came back upstairs, walked down again. Like, it was just such a process. And all I could do is, besides be helpless, is just be there to try to assist as much as I possibly can. And what I can say about this is, from like my perspective, because this is from a male's perspective, like, it's tough, man. It's tough to have a baby inside of you, knowing that it's coming out soon, and you just have to wait. Like, it's there, it's somewhere down here, and you just gotta wait, man. It's a weird thing. So we going. And we get to the part where she's in heavy labor, pushing, like, just pushing, bro. And all I can do is just count. Like, I'm just sitting there counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Focus on your bottom. Come on, babe. Like, being encouraging. Like, I'm useless, honestly. I'm here. I'm just here on the side of her. The doctor, well, the midwives are around, and I'm just kind of looking down there, seeing if the baby's coming. It ain't coming. There's nothing down there. It's just like, man, this is wild. Like, she was working hard, man. She was really, 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 really working hard.
Deep breath, go in. All the way down here. Good, that's it. Good. You're bringing him down so far, that's good. You got it. All right, just rest. Just rest.
Or like, I grew a great deal of respect for her watching this process. Like, I knew she was strong, but I never seen her tested in any kind of way, like to test that. But it was real interesting to see her go through this process, because she wasn't giving up. She was just pushing. She had moments of doubt for sure, but she was just like, I feel like it was a time where she was like, he won't come out. And we was all like, oh no, he's gonna come out. Like, he not gonna stay in there, that's for sure. But it's like, it was long, man. So you talking, we get there at 3:34. I'm talking, now we at 4 o'clock, we still going. We at 5:34, we still going. 6:34, we still going. 7:34, we still going. At like 7:34, I started texting people like, he gonna be here within the hour. He gonna be here real soon. I start telling myself, he gonna be here soon. 7:34, 8:34, 9:34. I'm like, at some point I was like, oh bruh, this is insane. And it wasn't like, it didn't feel like this wasn't the time. It just felt like this is a long, long labor, bro. And it was nothing like what we expected, what we read in the books. It lined up with what we read in the books for real. It was a very, I forgot the name of the labor, but it was very typical of like a first time birth. It gets to a point where things get pretty critical, because as they was saying, baby was down and like there, but it wasn't crowning. The baby wasn't crowning, but he was close. And it's like, it's hard to explain this. They showed it to us in a video, and I'm trying not to be like vulgar, but like, it's like it comes down and then back up, down and back up. And like each contraction is supposed to push it down further, but he just wasn't going, man. And it kind of got serious. Like, it got a little worrisome. I know she was like panicking. She was like really, really worried. We had to get to a point where, there's no medication, there's no epidural, there's nothing, there's no doctors in here. So got to a point where she had to get on the toilet and just push multiple times and just like try to get in a better stance. That didn't work. And we spent like a good 30-45 minutes in the bathroom. That didn't work. Get back in the bed, and they begin to get worried about the baby. Like, the baby heart rate is getting up there now. They was constantly monitoring it with the ultrasound, and the baby heart rate was going up. The baby was in distress. So we did something. Maybe even the toilet was to kind of stop it. But we had to do something really to like stop the labor from pursuing. Like, we needed to give the baby a chance to rest, get his heart rate down, relax. My wife had to get an IV, like an impromptu IV put into her arm. Then she had to get oxygen. And this is kind of where I start feeling like really, really helpless as a man. Like, you see your wife going through all of this stuff and you really just want to help. You can't do anything but be there for words of encouragement and to whatever, like, but that's not doing anything. And like most men, like, I like to do things. I like to take action. I like to whatever. And that option just wasn't available. Only thing I could do is just watch. And it was tough. It was pretty tough. Like, I wasn't emotional, but I was like, I wish I could do something to help, man. Like, I'm at a loss here. And so we get to a point where it's like, they're testing the baby and they're like, we got to get this baby out. Like, it's now or never. And she tries to push multiple times. She's pushing. Even get to a point where Kim is like, here, you grab this, I'll grab this part, you pull, I'll pull. And it just like, they did so many natural birthing positions, none of it was helping. And so she get to the point where it's like, you pull, I pull, and it just, no, that's not it. We waiting between contractions, and it's like, talking about contractions every 5 minutes for 6 or 7 hours, man, it's just insane, bro. Like what you have to put yourself through mentally and physically to go through that. And I was watching her like, she's never gonna forget this, bro. Like what she's going through, she's never going to forget. And so she's pulling and was just like, come on, we gotta go. And then like, cause the baby heart is in distress, it's kind of freaking out in there. It's like, we gotta get the baby out. And unbeknownst to us, Lynette and Joy kind of stepped outside in the hallway and was like, we gotta get the hospital on standby. Like she might need to go to the hospital immediately and have a C-section because this baby is not coming and it's in distress. But it's kind of like for them, it's a fine line because they have the Baylor hospital there on standby for emergencies only, but they also know how bad you want to have a natural birth and how hard you work to have a natural birth. So it's like a really fine line there for the midwives. And they did a fantastic job of giving my wife every opportunity to have a natural birth. They did everything they possibly could. And so we get to this point and it's like, he finally crowns, and you could tell you could feel it. Like they told us before, it's gonna be a burning sensation and whatever. She feels it, and Joy goes like, Lynette goes, you can feel the head. Like put your hand down there and you can feel the head. And she gets so emotional when she feels the head. And she goes, this next one has to be the one. And my wife goes, you really think I can do it in this next one? And we all kind of like, you have to. Like you have to get the baby out in this next push. And I'm just gonna play the clip. I'm not gonna even say anything, but like, you know, everything is pretty, it's not anything that you're gonna be able to see physically, but it's a very emotional clip here, okay? So I'm just gonna roll the clip.
Here we go. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Is that delivered? No. There you go. Come on. That's his body. Come on. Keep going. How are you? Okay, I'm gonna get you a towel. He's working on it. He's got some fluid to get out. This towel is cold. Oh, I got one. You don't mean that. You're welcome. Okay.
He's okay.
Yes. Yeah. He's doing great. Yeah. Yes. Lord, thank you. Now I wish I could give you an IV.
Whew, boy, like that was it. That was the moment. And when he came out, he wasn't making any noise, and she goes like, I don't know where my head went, where my mind was. I wasn't really watching for some reason. And she goes like, don't worry, give him a chance. He's working on it. And basically, you know, got fluid in his lungs, and the fluid comes up. He whans, you know, and it's just such an emotional moment. And I didn't think no way that I would cry about it, but I really cried for her. Like I cried because of all the work that she put into, all the effort that she put into, and like you could just see this big burst of emotion when the baby is handed to her. She's like so emotional, which made me fairly emotional as well. And then some point in there, and this is still true to this day, some point in there she goes, his head is so big, I don't think it's gonna fit any hats that we have. And but dude, he still got a big head, man. We say it all the time, but I was just going back through this footage this week and I heard that and I laughed because I remember that. But I'm gonna be honest here. Like, this is a moment of honesty. I think I told my wife this. I didn't told nobody else this, but it's a moment of honesty. After the baby was born, like maybe I shed like a few tears just watching her cry, and just a little bit, just, you know, like a little emotional movie tear, just one single tear. And I went downstairs and I was like, yo, I gotta go get the board. Like, we have a board for his name and all this stuff. I'm like, I gotta go get the board from downstairs. Let me run to the car. I go downstairs to the bathroom and I just hit the ground, bro, and just started crying like Will Smith in Pursuit of Happiness in the bathroom. I just started boohoo crying, like, bro, like just the emotion, and this is me being vulnerable too, like just the emotion, the overwhelming sense of responsibility, like it just all hit me at like once. And I tell myself, like, get up, bro, get up, it's okay, let's go. And I like wipe myself up. I go upstairs, she gives him a bath, and then I weigh the baby. I cut the umbilical cord, I weigh him, I put his diaper on, I put his clothes on, and it's like, bro, he was so big to be like a newborn baby, but he was so small, like as a human being. It was like, this is nuts, man. Like, bro, this was wild, bro. Just like, this is a freaking baby, bro. But he was so small, and we like put him in the car seat for the first time, took a picture. And this the end of the story, I promise. But he didn't cry. Like, he cried when well, y'all heard that? That's the only time he cried there. He literally cried then, and she gave him a bath. He didn't cry. I changed him. He didn't cry. Like, he didn't cry at all. And somewhere, like, she had the baby at 10:34, and some other lady came in to have her baby at like 9:30 something, like somewhere in the 9-ish range. She came in to have her baby in a separate room. Bro, that baby was out before we left, and it cried the entire time while our baby hadn't made a sound since he came out. Like, he made one sound and since then hadn't made a sound. And it was pretty much like that the rest of the day. Like, went home, he didn't cry. My mom came in, they saw him, he was asleep, he didn't cry. That night, he slept through the night. Like, it's just, and he been pretty much like that this whole time. Just a super chill kid, man. And I'm telling this story on his 1-year birthday, and it's crazy. This is a crazy story, man. Like I said before, man, if you guys are still watching, kudos to you. I appreciate y'all being here for this story time, this emotional story time. So, like, I mean, this story time really takes place like 365 days ago. It's crazy. My son was born a year ago, and I wanted to really make this video as a tribute to him, but and my wife, and just document like our life. I recorded that entire day, so I wanted to kind of concise it down into one fine video. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Appreciate it.